Hi, Papa Yeager here with This Day in History. March 19th, 1687, Salle, the French explorer, is murdered by his men in what is today Texas. Salle was born in France, and he was born to a fairly wealthy merchant family. But when he was 15, he decided to throw off all of that wealth and become a Jesuit priest. He was a priest for several years, but then in his early 20s, he thought maybe a life as a missionary would be better for him. So he went to Montreal, to New France. And while he was there, he realized that, you know what, it's not just being a missionary. I just don't think I want to be a priest anymore. So he started a settlement in Montreal, and through the course of setting that up, he developed a relationship with the natives, the natives in the area. And he learned of a large river to the south. This piqued his interest. And eventually he decided that the settlement wasn't for him either. He wanted to go off and explore. So he went to France, got permission to do an exploration, and he traveled extensively through the Great Lake regions. He explored them. He was one of the first Europeans to see much of the Great Lake area. And then he traveled down the Mississippi. Sailing down the Mississippi, he claimed land to the south in what is today Louisiana. He named it Louisiana after King Louis XIV. He then, at another time, a few years later, was taking another trip down the Mississippi. And somehow he and his men got off course and ended up 500 miles away from where they intended to be. They were going to set up a fort in the Gulf of Mexico, but ended up in Texas instead. And in one of their trips, while they were trying to find their way back to the Mississippi, LaSalle's men turned on him and killed him. And that happened today in history, March 19th, 1687. You know, when I was a kid, we knew these explorers. I loved learning the explorers. It's just this idea of going out and seeing new territory, seeing something. I think part of why I love to travel today is because I enjoyed learning about the explorers so much that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a modern day explorer, go off and see new things. Yes, there's nothing new to explore, but just being somewhere new, seeing something different, engaging with different cultures. I mean, when I was I think I was in middle school, I was able to rattle off different explorers. You know, there was LaSalle and DeSoto and Hudson. They don't teach the explorers the way they used to. And yeah, we can still teach that they turned the lives upside down for Native Americans. You can still have that history. But now it's like they don't teach history at all. Kids have access to cell phones and Google and can Google whatever they want. But they have no background anymore. Most kids, if you asked who LaSalle was, would look at you as if you had come from a different planet. It's kind of sad how history is just being lost. And I think that's part of the reason that people nowadays just have less of an understanding of what's happening in the world, because they don't have that background in history.